Welcome to Pod Me If You Can TV. Today's film is Knucklehead, starring the one and only Big Show, professional wrestler in the WWE. His real name is Paul White. Now, Lloyd, you might remember him as Captain Insano from The Waterboy. He's the guy who was on TV when Adam Sandler called up, and he was like, you know, I want to be like you. I'm a 34-year-old man, or whatever he says, and they start laughing at him.
Yeah, I remember that.
Look, Beyond the Mat, the wrestling documentary about the WWE revealed that Vince McMahon's plans were to make movies. Famously, it's a little bit of line in there. This is kind of a rare and obscure DVD because it's going to be one of those movies that the WWE studios have made that is buried. It's from 2010, but I mean, I never heard about it when it came out. So the Big Show is an adult orphan. He lives at an orphanage, and the deal is he accidentally starts a fire at the orphanage, and they need to raise money quickly to repair their kitchen. Otherwise, all the orphans, who are like 10-year-old boys, will be forced, to go elsewhere, and the orphanage will close. There's a nun who's in charge of the orphanage, and she's played by Wendy Malick, who's in Just Shoot Me. She's Nina Van Horn. People might know her as Nina Van Horn. She says to Big Show Paul White, whose name is Walter in this film, "Listen, Jesus sacrificed his life for us. Won't you do the same?" And he goes out on the road and does MMA fighting, which is a lot more like WWE fighting. Are you in, Lloyd? Are you already in for this great concept?
Yeah, it sounds great.
Sure. It's unclear why he's been allowed to stay at this orphanage. Obviously, he wasn't adopted, but he's grown into an adult, and he's got no real-world experience, and they think, why didn't we force him out sooner? Straight away in this film, there are fart jokes. I'm going to say it. A lot of the humour comes from the Big Show's gas. There's a scene where they're stuck on a bus, and he and his two travelling companions, played by, what's his name, from Royal Pains. His name's Mark Feuerstein or something? Feuerstein? I can't pronounce it. They're off to compete in New Orleans, and they have to travel to get there. And so they go on this bus, and the Big Show can't close the door to the toilet on the bus. And so he's just going to the toilet, and he's apologising. I'm sorry. And it is the only scene anyone might laugh at, being trapped on a bus with, this reluctant hero of the Big Show. Because he's not a violent guy, Lloyd. He doesn't want to fight. So they start him on the, amateur MMA circuit. He fights in a Jewish fight, which, doesn't really make any sense. He goes to like a kid's birthday party, kind of backyard fight, and he tackles somebody. There's this real emphasis on creating buzz for him, because if they create buzz for him, then it makes no difference. But the fact that they make all these YouTube-y kind of videos about him fighting means that he gets into the final fight at the end, because they haven't registered to be in this tournament at the end of the film. And because they haven't registered, they have to kind of yell out, "Hey, you guys know that guy who fought a bear?" That's right, the Big Show fought a bear in one scene as well, Lloyd. A real bear. Look, they have to go, "This guy, remember him? The guy who fought the bear? The guy who did this? The guy who did that? Well, he wants to fight." And then the crowd cheers, so he gets to be in the tournament. Dennis Farina is in this, the late Dennis Farina. And it's sad that it's one of his final films. He plays the villain, who's Mark Feuerstein, Eddie. He owes money to Dennis Farina's character. And so his 50% of the pot kind of thing is going to go towards paying off this Dennis Farina debt. But then, he's kind of changing and learning, and there's a love story in this film as well. It's it's full of fart jokes, Lloyd. It's so forgettable. The back of the box...
Is this a kid's film?
It's rated PG for mild violence, coarse language, and crude humour. And the crude humour is all fart jokes. This is a series of beefy guys. The Big Show's doing an adequate job playing this guy, but it seems he's borderline sort of mentally retarded. Because he has no real-world skills. He's got this silly wig on for part of the film before they give him a makeover. Yeah, there's a makeover scene.
Right.
And they shave his head, and he looks like the Big Show does in WWE. And they even give him fake tattoos, which are his real life tattoos. So there's a sequence where he's kind of rolling up his sleeves and showing off his tattoos, And then they stay on through the entire film because there is real tattoos, but that's how they justify him having them.
How many wrestlers from WWE were in this movie?
You know, just the Big Show, although the disc has a series of like wrestler-looking guys on it. I don't think any of them are from the WWE. The other main villain he's going to fight is this big black guy, and he's an actual actor, though. He plays a series of like tough guy kind of roles in previous films. His fighting name is Red Rum. And look, they do a lot of headbutts, Lloyd. I don't think they do a lot of headbutts in MMA, do they?
No, it's illegal.
Yeah, so they do a lot of headbutting and stuff. The title of the film comes from a line the Big Show says where he's in the final fight and the guy says to him, "A smart man would have stayed down." And he goes, "I guess I'm just a knucklehead." So look, if you're a Big Show fan or a WWE fan, this isn't the best WWE film out there. It's an obscure one. I think it's going to be buried, like I said. There's this silly scene where they steal a bike from a bunch of bikers, and he's riding in the sidecar as well, and they do a montage of traveling and sleeping at campsites, and they would stink because they're not showering. They're wrestling and traveling and sleeping outside, and they would just reek the entire time. You'd think it'd be full of wrestling because people who like wrestling would like this, but in the end, they do montages and stuff of the fighting, and even skimp over that.
Oh, no.
So, forgettable, guys. If you want to find more from us, head to our YouTube channel or to www.podmeifyoucan.com.